All right, and we are live. So welcome to another episode of AI Marketing for Remodelers and Builders. If you don't know us, this is Kai. I'm our lead consultant, everything AI and strategy. And joining me is Spencer, our founder and CEO. So we're super excited. What you guys don't know, but I'll still tell you, is that I messed up the title. So this is technically recording number 2 after messing up in the first 5 seconds. So Spencer, we'll see how on my game I am this episode. We'll see how it goes.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
But I'm super. Hey, you know what? A funny thing too for Spencer is I was just on a presentation and somebody said this is gonna be a compliment and maybe a little bit of a diss, Spencer. I don't know, but the client was like, "Hey, I really like that video that guy did on packaging up your design agreement. That was really cool." And I was like, "You mean Spencer?" But
That's
yeah. So
okay.
anyway,
That guy works. I'll respond to that guy. Yeah.
but he liked the video. I just wanted to let you know that. But we've got a really fun episode for y'all listening and watching today. If you don't know, we're starting to put out video episodes on YouTube showing some more visuals behind these ChatGPT and overall AI workflows. So check it out. Give us a like, drop some comments. Be much appreciated. But we've got a fun episode all about how to train ChatGPT like a new hire. So this will be a fun one. We'll walk through how you should approach ChatGPT with certain tasks. We'll walk through some use cases. And, you guys, this is episode 21 at this point, Spencer. They know how we get. We'll go off on our tangents. It'll be a fun episode. Yeah, I think where we're just going to start here is we're on ChatGPT. And I think I want to talk about really quick, Spencer, like without giving any context or without training this at all. What would you say ChatGPT's answers are usually? Quality-wise, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I were to just ask you to build me a marketing plan off the cuff like this, how well do you think you would do?
I'll go. I don't know, 3 to 5.
All right. I will say it has some memory. So honestly, we should turn off memory real quick here. I
Yeah.
think I think it'll be really fun. So what we're doing here is we're just gonna go in and I'm just gonna have it turn off all memory so y'all could see exactly what we're working with here. So I'm saying build me a marketing plan for this week. I am a remodeler. And if you're not training ChatGPT, if you're not treating it like an intern, it'll give you something okay. So it'll generate 5 to 10 qualified local leads, free 3D kitchen layout, tighten your offer. This is all right, right, Spencer? It's okay. It's not bad,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like, where do I start? It just keeps going. This is what you're going to get. If you hire a marketing intern and you don't teach them anything about your business, you don't teach them anything about you, your voice, this is just going to come off generic. And while there's some good information in here, what if you don't want to run meta ads? What if you wanted this to be more specific? Instead of saying city, it said your service area. So that's what we're going to teach you all about today.
Yeah, it feels like this response, I know you were just kind of cruising through it, but it was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you 7 tactics and I'm hoping that one of these will land with you and you'll be excited about it. And if you actually do all 7, maybe one thing will work. So
Exactly. Yeah. And to its credit, sometimes we do that as well. Sometimes you got to kind of throw a bunch of darts at the board to see what's going to hit. And if we really were to read through this, it isn't awful. There's some good information in here, but it even said, hey, if you want to tell me, look, it's doing its good job. It's asking for the city, the main services, whether you already run ads. So it's trying to make this more of a hyper local plan. So I think if you eventually just keep chatting with it, you'd probably get there. But what we want to do is have you go in here and get to your answer that you want as fast as possible. So Spencer, where we're going to start is we're going to show them the settings here to turn on. So you just got into ChatGPT. All right. If you have another screen, you should really follow along on this. Would be great. We showed off some of the settings in a previous episode, but for this one, definitely adjust all of these little personalization things here, like the tone. Should it be warm, enthusiastic? Should it use emojis? Give it some custom instructions. I really suggest filling this out, but the most important thing here is to make sure that you have memories toggled on and to reference chat history. So what this is going to do is it's not only going to save memories about you, but it's also going to be able to reference previous chats that you've done. So Spencer, how we just built this marketing plan here, we're going to go in and I'm going to say, can you look at a recent chat we had about a marketing plan for a remodeler and give me a summary and how we can improve it. So let's just assume, Spencer, that like we've just stepped away for a couple days. This is a great
Mhm.
way for you to, instead of going through and you see here now that it has my memory, it has all of our different blueprints that we've done. But it has a memory here, so you can see this is actually still a good example because these are actually chats I've done a while back. For example, Kaizen Homes, great client. I did that one probably 6 months ago. Um, so Fairmount Heights Homes are more recent, but you can see here it is referencing a previous client name. So you can say, hey, what was the client name, or what did you want reviewed? We talking about your blueprint, the paid ads plan, the organic strategy? Like, just let me know. I think this one was too generic for me to actually pull, but let's pull Kaizen. I want to try this out. So pull Kaizen's plan. And I think this is where, like, even before we start to get like training ChatGPT, the referencing the past chats, the memory. I don't know if you've used this too much, Spencer, but this is great because now we don't have to keep feeding it docs all the time, but we can just go back and we can see here it's pulling a ton of different things that we did for Kaizen, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I was thinking too, if you didn't want to pull a specific one, like it prompted you back and said, "Hey, like pick a client." But I wonder if you just change the prompt slightly to say like, based on past chats and plans about remodelers, can you give me a 7-day plan for a remodeler in Phoenix or something? So it'd kind of take your original prompt, but message or I mean, look through past chats. Sweet.
And again, I said in the last episode, now that we're doing video episodes, I'm not fixing my spelling. I don't do this. So it even said love this prompt. Very on brand for how you're thinking here. And you can see here it is
Thank you. And if
yeah.
you've customized yours, it would have told me, "Love this prompt, Batman," and then it would have gone into
Yes,
everything.
yes. But yeah, so you see here it's pulling up like we've done, like obviously we talked about cost a ton. We talked about like gate it with a project type, estimated budget range, timeline. So you talk about like remembering SOPs. So you start seeing the power of memories here. Um, but to get us back on track a little bit, we already went off on a little bit of a tangent. You want to make sure that the memories are toggled on, reference memory, like, oh, that's pulse, so we won't really worry about that, but really just focusing on referencing those memories and all of that. And then obviously filling out all of this. But that's the first place you should start when training your new hire, because one, Spencer, we have to build the hire, right? Who are we hiring? That's what you just build right here. So now what I want to talk about is, okay, so now how do I train ChatGPT on my business? And what I would honestly ask yourself is, what do you train somebody that walks through your door today that you hire? How do you train them on your business? It's the same way. So Spencer, if you were to bring in somebody right now to help you with builder funnel ad strategy, let's say you're bringing in like a builder funnel ad strategist, how would you start their onboarding process right here?
Yeah, I mean, number 1, I kinda go, zoomed out to zoomed in, so, we here always start with, like, a company history, so they know where we were, kinda where we are today, and then you would give just general context about the company and what it does, right? So for us, agency for remodelers and builders, we help remodelers and builders grow through strategic digital marketing. If you're a remodeler, it's like, hey, we do kitchens, baths, additions for these types of people. So it's almost like you're just saying what you do, you know, at the simplest form. And so you're saying, hey, these are the people we help. This is how we help them, and these are maybe like specific products that we have that help our audience, and this is how our products work. And then ultimately after that, it's goals, right? So like you said, how do I get it to trained up on helping us with our ad strategy? Then you go, okay, well, what is our goal for our ad strategy? Hey, we want to generate this many clients or this many leads or this many meetings or whatever that goal is. So, so we're going to enter that. And then if there's any parameters around the goal. We have a budget of X. We don't like to say this in our ads. We like this kind of messaging and lingo. Anyway, I can keep going, but if that's a good start, it's like zoomed
It's
out to zoomed
fantastic.
in, and then like context and goals.
Yes, love this. Okay, awesome. So I think the last part we need here is just talking about the parameters. So we have who we are, right? And another tip here for people watching and listening is that if you have this living in a doc somewhere, or you've said this on a call and you can pull the transcript, you can also upload the files as well. For the sake of demonstration here, we want to type out the prompt as far as like you don't have to have any of that stuff. I mean, you can still get results, but know if you have some of those things written out already, or you've said them in a past talk and you can get them in like a transcript, upload those for sure. It'll probably give more context. But let's talk about the parameters real quick, Spencer. So what's 1 to 2 parameters we want to give our intern here for running our ads?
Probably a daily budget, and you gave it a goal of clients, so that should work. I guess I don't know, average conversion rates, or I don't know, what were you thinking?
Yeah,
Daily budget,
let's
what else?
do. I think daily budget is a good one. We have a daily budget of $300 a day, and we want to attract, I don't know, would you say this is no diss out there to any revenue, uh you know, but for the sake of the parameters, we're going to say like $2 to $5 million remodelers.
Perfect. Yeah, ideal
I got to
client.
cover. Yeah,
Who we're looking for. Yeah.
yes, I got to cover myself, Spencer, because there's going to be somebody out there that's like, I'm a 1 million guy here or gal, and y'all hate me. And I want to promise you, I'm not hating you. I need a parameter here. All right. And then we're going to attract 10 builders or remodelers a week through Google Meta ads. I'm actually going to say I want to attract 50 and close 30% of them. Lofty goal.
I like it. You know, you might as
I
well.
think this is good. I think this is a good start for us. Is there anything else you think you'd want to add?
I think that's good for now. Let's see where it takes us.
Cool. All right.
Always
So
refine.
exactly. I think it's a good spot to also revisit some of these models here on ChatGPTs. And to be honest, while we are using ChatGPT right now, you could almost all of these tools follow a very similar model structure. So whether you use Gemini or Perplexity or Claude, very similar. They're probably just called something different. So we have a couple different models here, Spencer, that we can use for this. So we can use Auto, which will basically just have it decide which model it should pick. We can have Instant, which will answer the question right away, but it will not have any thinking behind it. The thinking model, which will think longer, probably like 1 to 2 minutes for this prompt, and it will have some sort of chain of thought. I would highly suggest this for anything that is like multi-step. And then Pro, which most of the time you do not need to use, but probably 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes even more. It's like a research grade intelligence. So I would say if you're doing like demographics research or doing like a deep research prompt specifically, that would definitely be useful. But for this one, Spencer, we're going to use the thinking model. And
I
depending
feel
on
like
what
I use
tier,
this one the most often, honestly. Yeah.
I think it's the best of both worlds. It's still pretty quick, and then also depending on what tier you're on for ChatGPT, you can choose the different level of thinking that it will do. I usually just stick with standard, to be honest. I don't usually touch these. Awesome. So let's see how our intern does. I feel like we should name our intern. I feel like we called ChatGPT Chathy at Builder Funnel. So this is gonna be Chad. This is gonna be
Nice.
Chad.
Chad
The
the
ads.
intern. Yeah.
Yes, Chad the ads intern here. And so we see Chad thought for around 10 seconds. And you can see here, the longer it thinks, the more you'll see its plan on the side over here. So you see it only has one plan. And it's just actually to provide a detailed plan with assumptions and math. Good job, Chad. That's a
Yeah.
good
That's
thought process.
fast thinking as well. 10 seconds.
I think I think he's fast tracking his way to a full-time role. We're gonna zoom in a little bit more here. We said, got it. Here's how I approach this as your builder funnel ad strategist with the math up front, then the plan. Spencer, I feel like Chad knows something about you that I didn't tell him because he loves math, or you love math. So here we go.
Chad already. He's doing great.
So first, the math reality check. So we designed the right machine. So again, if we were to say something like we did before, of like build me a marketing plan or build me an ad strategy, we didn't tell it before the budget. We didn't tell it who we wanted to attract and who we were. By giving it, and this is still a relatively short prompt, by giving it just a couple of points about us, what we want to do, some of our goals, as well as some of the parameters of the campaign, you already see how much more detailed this is. So we see here $300 a day, which is around $2,100 a week. You want to attract 50 builders and remodelers a week, and it does the math here. So that means you would need around a $42 cost per lead, and then at a 30% close rate, that would get us about 15 new clients a week. Again, very, very lofty goal here.
Very aggressive. Yeah, well, it
Yeah,
even says that, I thought you meant 15 a
yeah.
month, so I was like, "Oh, this could work," but it said 15 a week.
I think I meant that too, but I just didn't put it clear for Chad. So he's just like, I'm just doing what I was told. But and here for close, I also just meant like as in a meeting. So this would be 15 meetings a week or something.
There we go.
Yeah. And then about 140 cost per acquisition. Then again, giving us extremely aggressive, which is I do like that it's actually one of the biggest problems with ChatGPT, Spencer, has been it doesn't push back enough. I
Yeah,
actually
too
think this is some
optimistic.
natural, yeah, I think this is some actual good pushback. I don't think it stops us completely, but I think it does do a good job of saying, hey, this is extremely aggressive, unless your lead is very top of funnel, right? So this is pretty good as well. Good, I guess, expectation setting for sure. Yeah, this is awesome. The acquisition system. So pick one can't ignore offer that attracts serious $2 million to $5 million operators. So free growth plan call or marketing scorecard or a lead forecast. So it's already suggesting some pretty good ideas, honestly, for like a lead magnet essentially, or some sort of interactive component that's going to be the offer. It also gave us a pretty good split here as well. And it also gave us the reasoning on why it chose that split. So
Mhm.
Google captures existing intent, people actively looking for help. Meta manufactures demand and fuels retargeting and future search volume, which is correct, right? Because people on Google, they're searching keywords or targeting certain keywords. While on Meta, they're on social. They didn't really ask for that ad. They weren't really looking for that ad. This is pretty great. Gave us some good keyword themes here. These are actually some keywords we target in our Google Ads campaign. Funny enough. Gives us
Good
a
job,
bidding
Chad.
strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job, Chad. Good job, Chad. Doing your due diligence. This is great. This is honestly pretty solid. I mean, this is pretty good, and it even built out a full meta campaign too. And what, like 30 seconds? Like, what is Chad? Chad is really trying to impress us here. This is really impressive too. It's giving us specific KPIs. So if you're watching or listening to this, and you're like, I don't even know where to start or like what KPIs to go after, you can even ask your little intern here on what it should give you. This is pretty solid. I mean, this is pretty good. I would say that was a very solid plan from Chad. I would say you want to feed more information, but overall, I think it has a good start.
This one's interesting too because down here it said a
Mm-hmm.
practical outcome forecast, and this is actually what you said. You're like, oh, let's change it to 15 calls a week, which is
Yes.
what it said is more realistic. Even though you said, in the chat, it probably read as like
Yeah.
we would like 15 clients a week. And so yeah, it did push back, which I find unless you throw out something pretty lofty, like we kind of did in this one, the way your chat was worded, it generally won't push back, but maybe it is starting to
No.
get a little bit better there.
Might start. Yeah, it might be getting smarter too, and that's also where if you were to go back to your personalization settings, you can force it to give you feedback and pushback. Those are all things that you can customize, and honestly, things that it will naturally learn from you as well when you tell it. So I think they did a phenomenal job here on this. And you see, this was very quick. Probably took us, 5 minutes to build out at least a skeleton or a light skeleton of a pretty solid ad plan for us. Honestly, some of these lead magnet ideas are pretty good. The marketing scorecard, which maybe is something we've tried in the past, or even like this lead forecaster, like with vibe coding and these AI tools, I'm sure that Chad could help us build out something pretty cool that we can embed on a page.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think, we obviously could have added a little bit more context or a little more, but I mean, just giving it, a chunk of information versus like one line with no parameters. This is very specific, a lot more detailed, a lot more tactical. Yeah, and so Chad with the right direction, he can get you off to the races.
1,000%. Yeah. So if you're curious on like some other things that you should be feeding your intern, one of them should be definitely like ideal customer and project types, your service area, your offers, any like unique differentiators, compared to like your competitors. And then also probably one of the best ones is like a few examples of like your best ads or emails or content pieces too. So feeding all of that information can help make this even better, because let's say like there's a couple of keywords that are like our top performers. Chad would know that, and then he would make sure that he would make sure to feed that into our campaigns.
Yeah, and I think down below, where it had that list of data points a little bit further.
The
The
KPIs right here.
KPIs, yeah, if you
Yeah.
even if you don't have all that currently, but you have 3 or 4 of these bullets, if you fed those bullets in and said, "Hey, this is kind of our standard," it would be able to benchmark and say, "Wow, you're gonna have to really outperform your standard," or based on these parameters, like, I think you might be in that range, you could stay in that range or improve. So, yeah, the more data you have on your own company's conversion rates and numbers and context, then you can refine it again.
Sure. Let's do one more use case here. As far as I feel like we've done a good job of explaining, what to feed your intern. Our intern chat here did a great job. We gave an example of paid ads and building a strategy. Let's do something that's a little bit more twofold here. And what I mean by that is we're gonna have Chad go and look at something, go audit something for us, and then give us a response back here. And so one of the coolest things that you can do in ChatGPT is agent mode. And so what this does is Chad will have his own computer, and he'll be able to go on the web and look at information and then report back to us. So we're gonna give Chad a pretty easy task here, because I don't want to be here all day. Agent mode can go for a long time. But why I think this is important for this episode is I think you have a pretty good idea of the context to feed, and you have a pretty good idea on how to go back and forth with ChatGPT and your intern, and like building campaigns, building certain ideas, writing blogs. But I think one thing that almost nobody talks about in this industry is now taking it the next step, right? So what's something that we would give uh, an intern here, Spencer? I'm thinking like a competitor analysis or a website audit, maybe a page audit, just to make it very short. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I could just be auditing your own website if you're trying
Yeah.
to, "Hey, I'm trying to get more leads, I'm trying to," maybe auditing for conversion, maybe, like, giving me some
Yes.
conversion rate improvement ideas on my website because I need more leads this week.
Yes. So we're going to test out the memory again here, actually, real quick. So we love live demos. So say, do you remember what your role is as of today? All right, let's see if Chad remembers. Let's see if Chad is gonna come out of bed today and be ready to work. We didn't say his
He
name was Chad, so we're not expecting that. But
Yeah, he thought longer on this than the whole plan.
yeah, yes. As of today, my role is basically your operator manager, overseer, design, refine, QA, instructions prompted. This isn't exactly what we said, but we're gonna say, okay, as a reminder, you are my paid ads strategist today.
Come on,
Do you
Chad.
come on, Chad? Do you remember the company? What could also be happening too is I have so many memories in this ChatGPT account. It's not easy to use a fresh one. Um, so probably that as well. But we'll give Chad a second chance here. We'll give him a little bit of help.
It is his
But
first day after all, Kai. Yeah.
yes. No, it's not Kaizen Holmes, Chad. All right. Unfortunately, that's how live demos go. In your own account, you should be able to, your memories will be like more streamlined. I have lots of different client projects in here, lots of different chats. So I think Chad's getting a little confused. So all we're gonna do is just remind Chad real quickly of what his role is with us. But on yours, it should be completely fine. So all we're doing here is just gonna go back and just copy most of this prompt here, and then I will say, "You are my ad strategist for Builder Funnel." So what I'm gonna say is identify which page should be my starting landing page and why. Well, it'll probably ask me to create a landing page at another point, but what we're going to do is have it look at the Builder Funnel website. Remember, tick on agent mode here. And all I'm going to ask it to do is Identify which page should be my landing page and why. Um, also audit a couple pages. We're gonna give a number here, so it's not all day. So I'll say identify which page should be my starting page, and also audit conversion, their conversion ability. Only look at 3 pages. Maybe next time I'll have some of these running, but I usually, Spencer, I lean towards wanting to like look at it and see it run versus if I come back and it's already done, people are like, I don't know if I believe them. But you can see here, Chad has their own computer. So this is pretty cool. It's looking through. Chad, we just need you to click on Builder Funnel. There we go. So it's looking here. And you can see, you can almost see, like, you can't really see exactly what it's looking at, which is kind of disappointing. You can see that with almost every other AI tools. You can actually see them clicking through Chrome and like looking through the pages themselves. But for some reason with ChatGPT, it just gives you like this mode, for example.
Kai, this is a rabbit trail a little bit, but would this, because it's in agent mode, it's got its own quote unquote computer, it navigated to the site, does this count as a visit?
That's a good question. It might. It might count as a visit. I don't know. Spencer, I've never seen this page. Where is this page?
I don't know. It looks like an older page, but it is an old book a meeting page. And that is,
Yeah.
I think that's Carter, which he's 7 now, so he
I want to
looks a
say,
lot different.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. It might count as a visit, but I know some, not all websites. So like, for example, HubSpot, I think does a pretty good job of not counting like bot traffic as part of your full traffic. But I don't know. That's a good question, honestly. So you can see here, we can
I
actually
wonder if it like would be, yeah, is it a visit from ChatGPT? Yeah, anyway, we can do some, we'll come back to you guys later, but I thought that was...
You can see here, chat is working right here. So could you imagine having this tab up, doing your own research or doing another task, and then now you're working side by side with your intern, Chad. So this is pretty sweet. Now we can kind of see, so it looks like it's switching to reading mode, like where we can't see it, and it probably helps it read the page faster. But you can see sometimes you actually can see it going through the site, which is cool.
And you could have several of these agents going at once.
I believe so. I know every AI platform has like a different rule on like the usage. I've never actually tried to run something else while that was going. I do not think you can for ChatGPT.
Okay.
And I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
But maybe that's something we come back to as well.
Dang, it's looking at everything.
It is. This is pretty cool. Awesome. So there it is. So we just saw agent mode. So it had its own computer. It went through our website. Again, here, if you had more time, just let it look through your entire website. I wouldn't say only look at 3 pages. I would look at I would probably have to do an entire website audit, to be honest, with like a checklist and all of that. But we see here, it did give us an overview. It looked at the home page, the Remodeler marketing page, and then the schedule discovery meeting page. It says what a good landing page should have. And then it also breaks down each of the pages that it looked at, talks about the purpose and the audience, and also talks about what the value prop and messaging is on each page as well. It looks like the formatting's a little messed up here, maybe because I'm a little zoomed in, but pretty interesting. And then it says recommending the best starting page is going to be the scheduled discovery meeting page, which makes sense because it's the highest converting. It's straight to a meeting. We're booking calls. And it also says focus on a single goal, clear value prop. For these reasons, the meeting page should be the starting landing page for ad traffic. And this is what I was really hoping that it did, Spencer. It's going to give us additional recommendations to improve conversion, which is awesome. So highlighting the social proof more, add urgency cues. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed because like you didn't give it a lot of direction of even saying like go to builderfunnel.com. Like obviously that's a basic leap from our company's Builder Funnel, so navigate to the website. But out of all the pages it pulled, I think it pulled, well, obviously schedule a meeting page, like finding that one. The home page like has some opt-in, like the ones it chose of the 3, I felt like it did a filter. It didn't just go home about whatever. It didn't pick the first 3. It kind of found 3. And I thought that was an interesting step that it made. And then I like how it said here are the best practices. Here's the summary of what I found. So you could see, oh, it's benchmarking what I found against best practices, and then it gave you the recommendations.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm pretty impressed. Good job,
I thought it was
Chad.
pretty solid. Yeah, good job, Chad. Good job, Chad. And here's what I will say, right? I think even when you talk about it being like, okay, like this is a short use case for a podcast, but even if you're looking at this, like it still seems pretty general. As you keep working with your intern with ChatGPT, it will get better and better. But also, this would probably taken us like maybe 15 to 30 minutes, depending on like how long we like or how deep we wanted to go into each of these pages. Um, and I feel like this gives us always like a really good starting point of like where to go off of. So sometimes I'll have it audit a website and find like some like red flags, and then I'll dig into those red flags myself. And it just gives me like a good like launching point, which is awesome.
Yeah, and like for this instance, we said, "Hey, you're a paid ad strategist. We're trying to get these meetings." It found the discover like book a meeting page, and then if you just went through those additional recommendations, you're like, "Oh, shorten the form, add more social proof." Like
Hmm.
that, literally, that could improve the conversion rate today. And if you're running ads, you will see the result today. So, yeah, I mean, I think it did a good job.
Yeah, I did pretty solid. And also the last thing here with agent mode I wanted to show off is you can see all the sources that it went to. So every page that it went to, you'll be able to click on it and go there yourself. So I think we'll wrap it up there, Spencer. I feel like this really should show the viewers and the listeners the power of, training it like an intern, right? So if you start with messing with your settings, changing it to how you want it to be, and now that you have it how you want it to be, how it acts, how it responds, how it formats things, then we're going to go and start feeding it context of you, your company, your goals, some past history, who you're looking to attract. And then once you have that, now it's just working through the task. And we showed off how it can be a task like building out an ad strategy. You could even do like a blogging strategy if you want. You could write content. But we also showed off more of that twofold work, which it's twofold because it's going somewhere else. So I don't know if that's the right term for it, but I'm calling it that. I'm coining that term. But that's where you start using agent mode. And now it's starting to do more of like what a traditional hire would do, right? Like not only just sitting in the same room and going back and forth, but giving it a task, it going to do that task by itself independently and then reporting back to you. I think that's where people don't realize that these tools are they're pretty good at that now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the agent mode, and I guess remind everyone, does that come with the $20 but not the free?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you have to have the $20 a month version to do agent mode. They also just released a new tier of ChatGPT called ChatGPT Go, which is like $8 a month because they're getting ads on free and Go. So that's coming. We're gonna do an episode on that soon. But yeah, I would say you probably need at least a $20 a month version to get the agent mode. And you see here we have like 398 left or something. You probably would get like half that a month if you maybe like 100 or 200 or so.
Yeah, yeah, well worth it.
Well worth it. Well, Spencer, it's our favorite part of the pod here, and it's going to be the PWOW and the parting words of wisdom. If there is one thing that people should remember from this episode, what should it be?
Oh, it's tough. I had one in my mind, and then as you were asking the question, my mind went somewhere else. I will say, actually, take advantage of the agent mode more often. I think it's kind of interesting because sometimes you get into a project, and like you just want to be in kind of like focus on that project, try to get into more deeper work, like you're tuning out everything else. Having the agent is kind of interesting because I feel like it allows you to either oscillate between either two different projects. You're like, oh, I'm moving this one project forward and I'm kind of relying on the agent, and then I'm working on something by myself, and then I'll come back to that. But even within one project, you can kind of send it down a path and you're like, cool, you work on that while I work on this. And then when you're done, like we'll come back together. And so just that concept, I think you called it the twofold strategy. Um, I really like that because I think yeah, it just accelerates your work. I think in terms of speed, but also quality, because like you said, that would have taken maybe 30 minutes. And so, yeah, that's a speed reduction when you think about it. You're like, cool, I just saved 30 minutes. But also, I just don't think most people would go to that level of effort to get that end point. And so you end up skipping it. And so actually quality goes down. And so in this scenario, you complete it faster and the quality is higher. So yeah, I think that's my PWOW. I was just like looking for more opportunities to be like, what could I send this? And even your concept of calling it an intern, like where could I send this intern down some bunny trails? And if it comes back and the stuff is really helpful, it was well worth it. And if it was kind of a throwaway and it didn't come, it's like, well, it didn't hurt me because it's just off doing its own research. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
Exactly.
How about you,
Love it.
Kai?
Well, I'm going to ask Chad here, and we'll see. Chad hasn't been on his game as far as remembering the correct stuff, but we'll ask Chad what his biggest insight from our chats they are as well. But I'll give mine. I think really it comes down to, and I'm going to go back to what as we see what Chad said here, and I'll go to a new chat so we don't see it yet. But I think I'll go way back to something I probably said in like episode 2, 3, something like that. But these tools still aren't perfect, but this is the worst they're going to be. And you sort of mentioned it, right? Where it's like, okay, like even if it doesn't do the best job, like that didn't waste your time in agent mode. If we tried it, it didn't work, cool. We'll either give it more instructions or we'll just handle it ourselves. I think how I think of a lot of outputs from AI right now is it can really get to that polished point 1000%, get to that polished point where it's ready to go. It's client facing, it's ready to go, everything. But I think for the majority of people, for the level of context you're going to give, the amount of prompting you're going to give, thinking of it as like a good starting point or jumping off point is like one of the best ways to think about it. So don't go into what Chad, your intern, is going to give you for your ads plan as the best ads plan in the world, but use it as education, right? Well, now I know a couple KPIs to look at. Now I know like what my general captions should look like, and I can like kind of workshop this a little bit. Now I know like at least the 3 pages I should look at for my landing page. I know like which ones I should consider, and now I'll just go look at those a little bit more. Or maybe I'll build my own landing page with Chad's recommendations. I think using it as that thought partner and like that jumping off point, I think that's where people will start breaking that stigma of, oh, it's just generic or it didn't get exactly what I wanted now, and this is all unusable, which isn't true. Awesome. And now we're going to look at what Chad said here. Best insight was to stop thinking in channels and start thinking in a single local lead loop. I actually do think this was from the paid ads chat here.
Yeah, I think it was.
So the 7-day sprint structure. So Chad, to stop thinking in channels and start thinking in a single local lead loop, which, hey, if you want to go listen to our episode on loop marketing, that's exactly what HubSpot is also saying is the new version of marketing. But Spencer, is there anything else? You already said your PWOW, so I think it's time for us to go and let Chad take off the rest of the day.
Yeah, that was a good day one for Chad. We'll make him put in some more hours maybe in the coming days.
He's just an intern, but this has been episode 21 of AI marketing for remodelers and builders. Please reach out. I love my emails. I say it every week, guys. I love my emails. Reach out, KBIAMI@builderfunnel.com. Again, KB as in boy, IAMI@builderfunnel.com. Send me the first task you're going to send your intern after you give it the context and you personalize it. And if you even want to send me the output and how it did, that would be really cool as well. But have fun. This is going to be an exciting time with AI. We got some crazy stuff, crazy episodes coming up, but we will see y'all on the next one.